Made in Abyss is one of my favorite anime ever made. Definitely top 5. And even though the standard has fallen a bit for season 2, the visuals remain amazing and unique. But more amazing and unique still is the winding, mysterious narrative. The universe of the Abyss is filled with lore, baffling visuals, interesting characters, and complex circumstances. We get the feeling that the Abyss is as old as time itself, and the mysteries within are endless. Today I endeavor to be your guide down the intrepid abyss as you begin your journey as a diver. No spoilers ahead, let's get into it. Welcome to your introduction. The Abyss has 7 canonical layers. Before you enter the Abyss as a new diver, you start your journey in the town of Orth. This is the primary settlement that surrounds the Abyss. The inhabitants of Orth use a language with runes which is analogous to Japanese. Also, Osamu Masuyama pulled inspiration from Japanese prefecture Nagasaki to create the architecture and visuals for Orth. Orth is where the majority of the Abyss divers take up residence. These are members of the profession who dive into the Abyss in search of riches, powerful artifacts, fame, and answers to the mysteries, just as you too will soon discover. There are 6 classifications for the divers as assigned by the Divers HQ in Orth. The first is the Bell. These are novices in training. They have yet to make their first dive into the Abyss. This is you now. Then we have the Red Whistles. These are rookie divers. They are permitted to descend to 550 meters. Blue Whistles are experienced divers allowed to attend the second layer of the Abyss. Moon Whistles. These are expert divers who are allowed to go down to the 3rd and 4th layers. They act as teachers to the Bells and Red Whistles. Then we have the Black Whistles. Black Whistles are among the greatest of raiders. They go down to the 5th layer and often partner up to support the White Whistles on legendary expeditions. Finally, we have White Whistles. These are legends of the Abyss. They are considered the greatest divers to ever live. Interestingly, a White Whistle's regard is so high globally that all information about the Abyss passed by a White Whistle to the guild is regarded as fact, no matter how absurd. The White Whistle itself is not issued by the guild but instead forged from the life reverberating stones which are generated through the life sacrifice of a raider's loved one. Now that we have covered the ranks of the divers, let us begin your journey down the Abyss. The first layer is the edge of the Abyss. This one extends down to a depth of 1,350 meters. At this stage, the curse of the Abyss only causes light dizziness and nausea when ascending. This is where you start your journey as a diver. Mostly red and blue whistles are found here. The hollows and monsters at this level are mostly non-lethal. Artifacts have little value at this depth, and the biggest feature are the praying skeletons, which are associated with the aptly named birthday death sickness. Once your reputation allows it, or you are feeling particularly suicidal, you descend into the second layer. As a Red Whistle, if you go to this depth, no search party will be dispatched for you. This will be treated as a suicide. The second layer is called the Forest of Temptation. It extends from 1,350 meters to 2,600 meters. This one is for blue whistles and above. Ascending from this depth causes acute nausea, headaches, and numbness of the limbs. The forest is dangerous as the fauna and environment are geared towards aggressive survival. Here you will find creatures like the corpse weepos and amagiri. It has the aesthetic of a tropical rainforest with huge vegetation. If you get lost here, no need to panic, as the leaves of all the plants at this depth point to the center of the abyss. Deeper into the second layer, we find the inverted forest. Trees grow upside down here. There's an intense updraft, and even water flows upside down. The primary feature of this layer is the observation camp. The Seeker camp is a resting base for divers to rally before going down to the third layer. It is located 60 meters from the entrance of the third layer. It is also the base of the legendary White Whistle Ozen and her radar party, the Subterranean Bandits. You stay here and develop your skills with the bandits, acquiring relics and useful skills on the way. As you get older, word reaches the guild of your accomplishments and you are promoted to Moon Whistle. So, once you have gained your Moon Whistle at around the age of 22, you can go back to the academies and become a teacher for the bells and red whistles, or you can continue the raid and descend into the third layer and beyond. The call of the abyss is far too intense for you to stop the raid, so you push on. Now that you're a Moon Whistle, you will have to deal with even stronger strains from Ascension. In the third layer, in addition to the strains of the first and second layer, you also now get vertigo, visual and auditory hallucinations. The third layer extends down from 2,600 meters to 7,000 meters, and it is the longest layer of the abyss. This layer contains a 4-kilometer vertical cliff. This layer is also the narrowest, and the shaft going down has no vegetation on it. Divers traverse this layer mainly by using the cave network which winds around the main shaft. This layer has mostly flying predators, and the most sinister of these being the Crimson Splitjaw. Now it's getting serious. We have reached the fourth layer, the Goblet of Giants. This one goes from 7,000 meters all the way down to 12,000 meters. The strains of ascending are now intense body aches and bleeding from all orifices. This one has extremely violent beasts which require extensive combat ability to best. A feature of this layer is the vegetation which forms huge concave discs to capture water. This is how the layer got its name. In this layer, one is able to find life reverberating stones as well as areas where the force field of the curse of the abyss is absent. Many divers make their name from the discoveries made at this depth. The most famous thing about this floor, however, is the Garden of Flowers of Resilience. This is found at 9,000 meters, and it is a field filled with eternal fortunes, the trademark flower of the abyss. This is the location for many of the documented images from this layer. Take a selfie here, it's a good spot. Once you navigate down to 12,000 meters, you will enter the fifth layer, the Sea of Corpses. This layer extends down to 13,000 meters. Trying to ascend from this layer causes complete sensory deprivation and self-harming behavior. The Sea of Corpses is only 1,000 meters deep, making it the thinnest section of the abyss, but it is also the widest section. It is a large sea roughly 10 times the diameter of Earth, filled with monsters. In order to continue your descent, you must locate the Ido Front, an ancient ritual site where there exists an elevator to the 6th floor at the center of it. This elevator is the altar of absolute boundary. So you have made it this far on your dive, but here progress comes to a grinding halt for two reasons. The strain of ascension from the 6th layer to the 5th layer is loss of humanity, and in some cases instant death. This cannot be avoided without some mitigating factors. Also, the altar can only be activated by a wielder of a white whistle. So even as a very skilled diver, this is where your journey ends, at least for now. You assemble a loyal diving team to collect riches for Earth, discovering many artifacts along the way, but on one of your many journeys into the depths, a young crew member succumbs to injuries in the abyss. He desires with all his heart to help you on your dives and becomes a life-reverberating stone. His consciousness is still intact and his soul is crystallized to this hard white stone. He has become an artifact, a white whistle for your use only. Once you arrive in Earth with the sad news and the new discoveries from the 5th layer, you are promoted to the rank of White Whistle, and you become a household name in Earth. You live a comfortable life in Earth on the surface, with your diving party gaining repute and continuously making new discoveries in the abyss. You have a handful of black whistles working with you that are as good as you were in your younger years. But this is all too boring. The mystery of the abyss calls again. You want to reach the bottom of it. Due to the curse of the 6th layer, you can never return to the surface after taking the altar of absolute boundary. When white whistles go down to the 6th layer, they call it the last dive. So you pack up all your highly regarded relics, say goodbye to your loved ones, grab a handful of your most trusted black whistles, and set off for the last dive. Once in the altar, you blow your white whistle, and you and your crew descend to the 6th layer, never to be seen again. The 6th layer's depth goes from 13,000 to 15,500 meters. It is called the capital of the unreturned, and the strains of ascension are death and loss of humanity. The curse wraps around individuals ascending like a blanket and deforms them into a hollow. Most hollows die immediately, but in rare cases they continue to live, losing their human form, but in rarer cases still, they become deformed in an organized way while still retaining their intelligence and consciousness. This is called the blessing. Little is known about the blessing and the circumstances which create it. So you and your team have arrived at the 6th layer. There is no drinkable water, food is hard to come by. The monsters down here are even more formidable than on the higher floors. There are random geothermal explosions that emit poisonous gas. The whole place is the inexplicable ruins of an ancient city. There is, however, strangely a village of intelligent hollows in this layer. You stumble upon Iblue Village. Inside the village, the curse is absent. There is food and water too. You can roam freely around the village. However, the inhabitants of the village cannot leave. You make a friend or two, and it is here in the village that you hear from the once humans about the 7th layer, and beyond that, the deepest point. You have always heard rumors about it as a child, but now you know how to get there. So the team set off again, down to the 7th layer. The depth of this layer is unknown, as no equipment works at this depth. Information from depths beyond the 5th layer is almost impossible to obtain because the avian monsters at this depth and below are immune to all repellents. You arrive at the 7th layer, the final maelstrom. The strain of ascension here is immediate death. So you and your crew cannot even go back to the hollow village. In the descension to unknown depths, you spot a ring of light below. Your crew passes through the ring. You and your entire team are never seen again. No further information about you ever reaches the surface, and your legend lives on to this day.